Wage and salary administration is a delicate and complicated process. It is entrusted to a committee of high-ranking executives representing major organizational activities. The committee's functions are approval and recommendation to management on job evaluation methods and findings, review and recommendation of basic wage and salary structure, help in formulation of wage policies, coordination and review of relative departmental rates to ensure conformity, review of budget estimates for wage and salary adjustments and increases. Differences in pay should be based on variations in job requirements. Salary and wage levels should be reasonably in line with prevailing labor market. Plans should distinguish between jobs and employees. The importance of the job should not be exaggerated or undermined by the person performing the job. Equal pay should be given for equal work, and equitable practice should be adopted for the recognition of individual differences in ability and contribution. Procedures should be established for hearing and adjusting wage complaints. Employees and the trade union should be informed of the procedure for establishing wage and salary rates. The rates should ensure that the worker and his family enjoy a reasonable standard of living. The wage and salary structure should be flexible so that the changing conditions can be met. Prompt and correct payments of dues must be made. Revisions should be decided by a committee and not by an individual, however unbiased. The wage and salary payments should fulfill a wide range of human needs, including self-actualization. A wage is any economic compensation paid by the employer under some contract to workers for services rendered by them. Wages include family allowance, relief pay, financial support, and other benefits. Allowances are paid in addition to basic wages. Example: holiday pay, overtime pay, bonus, social security benefits, etc. According to Workmen's Compensation Act 1923, wages for leave period, holiday pay, overtime pay, bonus, attendance bonus, and good conduct bonus form part of wages. According to Payment of Wages Act 1936, any award of settlement and production bonus, if paid, constitutes bonus. According to Payment of Bonus Act 1948, retrenchment compensation, payment in lieu of notice, and gratuity payable on discharge constitute wages. Payments that are not wages: bonus or profit share, value of house accommodation, supply of light, water, medical attendance, traveling allowance, reimbursement of expenses incurred in performance of work, contribution to pension, provident fund, or social security, and social insurance benefits. Any other special amenity or service excluded from the computation of wages by a general or special order of the appropriate government authority. Theory of wages. There are several theories of wages, such as subsistence theory, wage fund theory, surplus value theory of wages, residual claimant theory, marginal productivity theory, the bargaining theory of wages, behavioral theories. Subsistence theory, also called iron law of wages, propounded by David Ricardo. It says laborers are paid to enable them to subsist and perpetuate the race without increase or diminution. In other words, enough should be paid so that laborers do not die of hunger, but not so much that their numbers increase, eventually leading to an oversupply of labor. Wage fund theory, propounded by Adam Smith, it assumes that wages are paid from a fund of wealth which lies surplus with the wealthy. The size of the surplus fund determines labor rates. Surplus value theory of wages, propounded by Karl Marx. It says labor is an article of commerce that can be purchased for a subsistence price. Further, a product's price is determined by labor time needed for producing it, and laborers are paid a fraction of the price, which is not in proportion to the time spent on work. Residual claimant theory. Francis A. Walker said factors of production are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. From the firm's revenues, payments must be first made for land, capital, and entrepreneurship. The residual amount should be utilized for labor. Labor is the residual claimant. Marginal productivity theory by Phillips Henry Wicksteed and John Bates Clark. Wages are based on an entrepreneur's estimate of the value that will be produced by the last or marginal worker. A firm will hire a worker if the marginal value created by the worker exceeds the cost of wages paid. When this becomes uneconomical, the employer will resort to superior technology. The bargaining theory of wages by John Davidson. It says wages are determined by the relative bargaining power of workers or trade unions and of employers. The power of the union. Money is a means for fulfilling subsistence needs, and this need must be met before management tries to meet higher order needs, like needs for recognition of merit and achievement. Minimum fair and living wage. The statutory minimum wage is determined by the provisions of the Minimum Wages Act 1948. Bare or basic minimum wages, wages fixed by industrial tribunals, national tribunals, and labor courts. The report of the Committee of Fair Wages, set up by the government in 1948, defined fair wages in three levels: lowest, minimum wage; middle, fair wage; highest, living wage. Minimum wage, wage which must provide not only for bare sustenance of life, but preservation of the efficiency of the worker. Minimum wage must provide for education, medical requirements, and amenities. Living wage, one which should enable the earner to provide for himself and his family not only the bare essentials of food, clothing, and shelter, but a measure of frugal comfort, including children's education, protection from ill health, insurance against misfortunes, and providing for old age. Fair wage, wages above the minimum wage and below the living wage. Factors influencing wages are productivity of labor, prevailing wage rates, national income distribution, place of the industry in the economy. The Indian Labour Conference, held in July 1957, recommended the following norms for minimum wage committees, wage boards, and adjudicators. Each working class family should be taken to consist of 3 consumption units or members. Earnings of women and children to be disregarded. Minimum food intake should be calculated at 2,700 calories for an Indian adult of moderate activity. Clothing requirements of 18 yards per annum per person to be provided for. For a family of 4, a total of 72 yards to be considered per annum. Housing costs must be estimated based on government's norms of rents for its own subsidized housing schemes. Fuel, lighting, and other miscellaneous expenses should constitute 20% of total minimum wages. Elements of a good wage plan are easily understandable, capable of easy computation, capable of effectively motivating employees, provide remuneration as soon as possible after effort has been made, should be stable,